Do you all know what time it is?
Colistseeum.
All right, what is it?
I believe the polls voted for The Matrix between The Matrix and Fight Club.
I fucking hope so, because that's what I watch.
So we all watched Fight Club. We all watched The Matrix. Made in...
Kane.
No?
Jack myself in.
So the Matrix was April 99, had a budget 63 million, made 463 million.
That's fucking great.
That's a pretty good return. Directed by Lena Wachowski and Lily Wachowski.
And wasn't it filmed in Australia and the US?
Yes, it was too, which was another weird one.
Yeah. They filmed the Darrow parts in Australia.
Well, the guy's like, "Oi, that guy took my phone." Just sounds like, wait, is that fucking Australia?
Yeah, and then there was the Aboriginal man in the train station.
Yeah.
The little boy.
The little monk.
The little spoon bender. Bending his mum's crack spoon.
Wait, that did look like Aang.
Well, this got good ratings all around. 93 Google, 8.7 IMDb, Rotten Tomatoes 88, Metacritic 73.
73 on Metacritic?
Go fuck
Fuck
yourselves.
them.
I'm giving it a like. All right. Wait. Can you check Missy, can you read the synopsis?
Fucking hell, if I get a bit closer. Can you
This is
zoom?
you fucking blind
Can
cunts.
you zoom?
Can I zoom? I could.
Okay. Neo, Keanu Reeves, believes that Morpheus, Lawrence Fishburne, an elusive figure considered to be the most dangerous man alive, can answer his question, what is the Matrix? Neo is contacted by Trinity, Carrie Ann Moss, a beautiful stranger who leads him into an underworld where he meets Morpheus. They fight a brutal battle for their lives against a cadre? Okay. Of viciously intelligent secret agents.
Cadre.
It is a truth that could cost Neo something more precious than his life.
Aaron, how would you do? What was your synopsis of The Matrix be?
Enjoyable.
What's your synopsis?
Tell us the plot.
Give us a quick plot of the movie.
Enjoyable.
Enjoyable. You're like, wow, this movie sounds enjoyable.
Alrighty. So I got to think here. Basically, it's just based around Neo. That's his online handle. That's what he's known. He's a hacker. And throughout his life, he's felt like things in the world weren't quite right. And he's looking for the reason. He finds the reason. He believes it to be something to do with the Matrix.
This is your synopsis?
Yeah.
This is going for ages.
That's shorter than this so far.
I would have went fucking white guy.
A white guy.
a white guy.
Why are you seeing colour, Kane?
White guy meets a black guy. Black guy takes him out into a weird, dank world.
Gives him a pill.
And then...
It's a hard story to break down. Even that synopsis doesn't really do it justice.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, just a quick synopsis of it. It's
Okay.
like Lord of the Rings.
Man
Midgets throw ring into a fire.
in VR controls VR.
Learns to control VR.
Yeah. That's it. That's the world.
That's the world.
Yeah, white man in VR, helped by black
So
man
white.
in VR.
Especially white.
Yeah. That's it.
That's it.
All
All
right,
right.
let's give our votes.
let's get into it. So, who picked The Matrix? Which one?
Was
I
it?
think
No,
that was
you
you.
picked Fight Club.
I picked Fight Club.
He picked Fight
Oh,
Club.
so you picked Matrix.
Oh, okay. I picked The Matrix. Yeah, win for me.
You idiot.
You idiot.
I think... Because I was looking, Matrix is considered a fantasy sci-fi.
Yeah.
So I think I'll eliminate fantasy, leaving sci-fi still open for...
No. We're eliminating fantasy sci-fi as a slash.
Wait, how did
Both
this
those
even have
categories
No,
are
you
still open.
can't do that.
How did this have
We
fantasy?
would take every... It's a fantasy.
It's just sci-fi.
It's a sci-fi.
I would have probably called it more sci-fi.
You
if anything
can't.
else.
Yeah, this is the thing. You want to be a little fuck and mess around with the categories, and you want to say that there's more fun science fiction films than fantasy. So you're trying to eliminate this and say that it was a fantasy, and that's naughty.
Fine then, we eliminate sci-fi.
Yeah, which is shit. Which is why I'm saying we should eliminate this as a fantasy sci-fi.
We can't do that because did you see the list I gave you? We would be doing this for the rest of our lives.
Is it not the plan? Are
No.
we not doing podcasts for the rest of our lives? We have time.
It was just so we covered every
I don't.
category.
Oh, sorry. Are you busy playing games on
No,
normal?
my life will be short.
Yeah.
I'm getting close to the end.
Anyway,
All right,
let's
Pete.
go from the start. Let's go from the start of the movie.
We tried.
For people
and you
listening-
told us off.
What? No,
Nothing.
it's just saying, give me a short synopsis of it. White man meets black man. Gets pulled out of VR. And then weird robots attack white man and black man in vessel.
Oh, that's a
White
good
man
point.
convinces black man that white man is the best. Where it should be. White man becomes the best. In VR. Not in the real
Yeah.
world. Just
In the
VR.
real world, he's just a weak man.
Yeah, he's a pretty good gamer.
With no eyebrows.
What?
Well, they do come back.
All right, let's just go from the start of the movie. It starts off with Trinity in the building, hey,
Yeah.
which we
Oh,
get
that's
one of the
right.
most iconic scenes with the 3D camera kick.
Yeah. Yeah, it spins around. Which is still impressive. Like,
Do you know they done that scene with a fucking all these cameras like all like taped together, and then they spun it around?
are you
her?
kidding? Is that how they did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they used multiple cameras because I don't think there was a circle of cameras around her, but then that means they would have had to have edited out the ones on the other side. But I remember being when they were explaining the scene how they wanted it done. They're like, "Oh shit, we're gonna have to make something for that."
Yeah, that's cool though. Like, it is very iconic, and I only wondered how they did it after watching it this time. Before then, I was just like, "Oh, that's awesome."
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that, but didn't really give it too much thought. But that makes sense if they had like a crescent-shaped ring of cameras, and then they just circled it around. But how did they blend it all in together though?
Not sure. I've watched the making of this ages ago. I was going to watch it again, but obviously because it just didn't get the time around to watching it again. But rewatching this movie and realizing just like straight off the bat from the start, the story
It's aged a lot too.
It's aged, but like
The tech.
the tech is definitely aged. But for a movie that's 22 years old,
I know. I didn't realize it was so old.
it's actually holding up very well.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Like,
It's one of my favorite sci-fi movies.
I forgot how much I fucking like this movie and how much it still holds up. When I keep thinking 22 years old, I'm like, I think of other movies that are 22 years old kind of thing. And just to think, the choreography, Keanu Reeves learning to fight and doing all his own stunts and that kind of thing.
Back when he could show some emotion.
I was watching him again. I was like, oh wait, he's actually got a bit more emotion in this than he does in John Wick. So he's not too bad, kind of thing.
Yeah. No. You see him smile sometimes. So
Yeah, he does until he realizes that his world's fake, and then he's quite depressed after that.
yeah, as you probably would be.
I think watching it this time, I finally understand the story and everything like that. Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm definitely now old enough to
Appreciate it.
I remember I thought it was a convoluted mess, but
Yeah.
after watching it again,
No,
I was
it's not
like,
really.
everything flows after each other and makes sense. It was all quite clear.
Yeah.
The fact there was so many things about like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of funny because it's like,
I reckon you might have more questions, or it might be less clear if you start watching the second and third movie. But
the second,
as far
I
as
never
the
watched
first
them.
movie goes, it's a very clear story.
Yeah, it's very
You
straightforward.
can follow it easily from start to finish, and yeah, it's like practically action. At least there's action at least every 5 minutes.
Not even just the action. It's interesting the whole time. You're always wondering.
Actually, I would call it sci-fi action, not a sci-fi fantasy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
no,
don't know where
because
fantasy
fantasy is it's almost anything. Then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really weird to call that.
but yeah, no, they did a really good job. Especially, I think it's one of the movies that pulled people that didn't like sci-fi into sci-fi.
Yeah, it definitely probably pulled in more people that weren't expecting to like that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
Oh my god, I was just thinking like that early stuff. You're talking about the tech, the computers, the floppy disks,
Yeah.
and you really notice the date there.
oh yeah. And what about the phones? The phones that
my God.
flip down and...
When he crawls out of the building and drops it, I'm like, it's probably fine down there later. Just go pick.
He dropped a Nokia. It's still down there.
It's still down there. Someone picked it up. Now they have a Nokia. That's how Nokias work. They just get passed on. They don't break. Also, in that, when I was watching him run away and he got to the part where he had to climb around it, I'm like, yeah, that's probably where I would have given up to.
Yeah. No. I realize now that he more gave up because he lost the phone. Like, I feel like, well, from my perspective, I was watching it and I'm like, that was fucking scary trying to go around that bit.
Yeah.
You would be scared when the wind blows. But now you've lost the phone too. Like, that's the clincher. You now have no communication with this person. Even if you got onto the scaffolding and went upstairs, you now have no direction.
Mm. Yeah, that's true.
Don't take the risk.
Because now you're taking a massive risk for something that you definitely have no idea about.
Yeah. Like, they can't get him another phone that easily. They had to FedEx it to him the first time, which is cool.
And, like, they're just watching him now through the code on their screen, so that's why they can see everything.
Yeah, and they can't communicate with him anymore.
Oh, that'd be so annoying.
Yeah.
Also, the fact is, I love how we see the code, but when you've been watching it long enough, it just becomes a clear picture. Like,
I have no idea how that makes sense.
How long would you have to look at something
to
become a clear picture?
I know. And also, from a tech perspective, that doesn't make any sense. Like,
they do it in the 100 as well. Remember when Raven's looking at all the code and she's like, that's a building, that's a safe, that's a that. And it's like, that's code, Raven, stop it.
This isn't the Matrix.
Yeah.
Actually, wait, I completely forgot. The first scene is her running.
Yeah.
And you get to see the big jump. You see the agent jump after her.
Yeah.
That was a bit dated. When she jumps through the window, you get that weird zoom out of green screen thing.
She's doing like the diver's turn. Like,
Honestly, that might be one of the only badder CGI effects in the whole movie.
Was it that bad at the time?
Oh, no, it probably looked...
I think it still seemed good at the time.
Like, if we're going to like go through the tech and stuff, just to go from the story a bit, the bullets shooting, the fast movement, all looks cool. Yeah. Like, it still looks really cool. Good.
Yeah.
And it's just so surprising. Like, the budget wasn't that big. Hey,
I think it was quite large for a fantasy, for a sci-fi movie.
And the first in the series, 63 million.
Yeah, and the first in the series. So,
and I'm pretty sure this was the debut of this director in that. They had this weird science fiction thing, and I think it was very hard for them to get people to understand what their vision was.
Yeah.
Well, hearing how they pitched it to Will Smith, who they wanted for Neo, and how he turned it down, that's one of my favorite things. Wasn't it like, okay, and you jump in the air, and then, like, the camera just, like, goes around you, and he's just like, what? No, that sounds good. Good luck with your movie. And then it ends up being amazing, and he's just like, damn it.
Yeah, for it to almost do $500 million.
Yeah, back then.
That's crazy for a sci-fi back then.
I was just thinking, like, when he comes out of it, it's all, like, dark and bleak. But then as soon as he's like, I know Kung Fu, and gets uploaded fighting styles, I would have been laying there for ages too. Fucking just film me with every fighting style that you can.
He hadn't slept either. Like, I don't think I paid attention to that when I was younger. He's like, have you slept yet? And he's like, no. He's like, well, you will tonight.
And he's been at it for 10 hours, just getting upload of all these, like, fighting and other techniques and shit.
Yeah.
The soundtrack is great. It's very iconic, especially the Morpheus walking with him and the red lady dress scene. Fuck, who does that? God damn it. I should know this. I have it on my phone, literally, just that one soundtrack. Yes. It is great, like, workout and build-up music kind of thing.
Oh, definitely. I feel like just the quality of the movie was great. At least for the time, was great. The story was great. Like that.
I was gonna say, all right.
There's very few things I can fault about this movie.
You're gonna say like this is one of those things where I was like, when we pick a movie, and it's like story and lore are like kind of separate. Nah, this movie did them both well. Yeah. You got the story of Neo, and you got the lore of the world and the Sentinels.
Yeah.
And fucking, what's their city called? Like the people in the real world and stuff like that.
Zion.
And like, we didn't get to see them. We get to see them in the next movie.
Yeah.
But the fact is, the lore was built. The story of a single man named Neo, hacker, fucking becomes the one because he's built into the Matrix system.
Yeah, yep.
Lore and story both done well in a movie.
And we have to be careful not to delve into the second or third movie.
No, I didn't watch them, but yeah.
I do remember feeling frustrated that you didn't get to see anything of the main city.
So yeah, not seeing Zion and stuff.
This is one of the first movies I remember being part of this whole trilogy fad that became a thing where
yeah, it's true.
Everything started being in trilogies. So like when you got to the end of a movie, that wasn't the end of the fucking movie. Like it was really just the beginning of the movie.
This movie ended though as if it was like they're like, if we don't get another one, it's a solid ending.
They did have that ending where they have the talk back. What's it called? It's like a narrating voice.
When he's ringing the phone call at the end.
Yeah. So I forgot about that scene actually, and it does kind of imply that that is the end almost.
Yeah, like he it's funny because it's like, oh, he done it, but really the story is about him like freeing Zion and the people and stuff like that. So there is a bigger story they haven't told all of you.
But yeah, no, it's.
What did you think of
Close to one of my favorite
the tech Missy,
sci-fi.
All that stuff? Do you think it aged well, or do you think obviously some parts are dated?
Yeah, I think it holds up compared to a lot of the older movies that have tech in it. I think it's still okay for what it is. Mainly because, like, obviously, like, the cell phones and that are a bit weird, but even when you see them in the, like, post-apocalyptic world using all that sort of stuff, it's kind of believable because it is post-apocalyptic,
just
you
like
know?
their ship, the Nebuchadnezzar, it's just kind of like this,
and you would
this
kind
trash
of,
put together shit.
yeah, and you'd kind of think, yeah, maybe only the older stuff does work because, hey, you need to buy a new iPhone every 2 years because they die. Like, you know, it's believable.
And using EMPs. Oh, the fact also they do explain that they were the ones that wiped out the sky from to stop them from getting solar panels.
Which is a bit unbelievable when you think about it. I don't think human beings would fuck up the sky when we need it.
They would do it.
We need it for
to
plants.
stop the machines from having power, yes.
But they won anyway.
Yeah, but humans.
Yeah. It would take one person suggesting this that was like influential. And that shit could get passed through.
Actually, the scene when he first comes out of the pod is actually really good. Like,
yeah, that was.
He looks over, sees the fields of just people, and then also that scene makes me feel so uncomfortable. Just all the things in him, they start popping out of him and shit.
I know.
It looks like butt fly.
It looks
what
so
about
painful.
His facial expressions when he's getting picked up and disconnected.
It's just
like makes me feel really uncomfortable.
So that was their little ship there, like grabbing him, and taking that thing out.
I don't know.
Or was that them making him look like a dead
no.
body and he's trash now?
Yes, and he's been disconnected.
They disconnected him.
Yeah, like the robot that does it isn't looking for life. It's got the command that he's got to get processed for waste.
Yeah. Even if he did break out of it, they're like, "Oh, this person gets processed for waste. See ya," and just throws them out.
Yeah,
and then
they would have people that wake up.
Yeah,
and they would just get rid of them.
The fact that
they turn
I missed that part when the dead are fed to just people. And
that's
like
fucked.
That. Reusing everything.
They basically they don't waste anything.
The story in I know it's like it's been done in the sense of like if you watch Star Trek or anything to do with computer taking over, that stuff has been told. But this movie brought it to light and done it so well.
That's the first time though that I think that humans were enslaved as a battery, like as a power source. And it does mention that it's combined with a form of fusion. So it must use the heat from the humans to start like the fusion and stuff or whatever, however they want to explain it. That's not been done that I know of before. Usually there would be no reason to keep humans around. You would kind of feel like humans are less efficient than any other kind of battery. Yeah,
definitely. That's probably the only one of the main plot holes I think probably people could poke fun at is why use humans kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's so
surely
inefficient.
there would be other animals.
But we were very easy to control with a simple simulation.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose.
there's so many little details too. Like I was thinking when he gets taken out, and then they spend how many weeks of like putting all his muscles back together, taking out all the fucking.
That was ages.
It would be several because his hair grew back.
His hair grew back a bit. His eyebrows were back, unless they just didn't want it to look too weird. Eating the weird mucus stuff, like that's all they would have is let's just make a nice fucking thing that we can eat and keep our minerals up.
Yeah.
The one that stood out, I don't know if it's what they intended, but they're like, this is going to feel weird. And they shove the thing back into his head, and he's just kind of like this white noise.
Yeah.
And then they load the program, and that's all fine.
Load the program.
I'm like,
before.
Is that what it's like when I plug my USB in? Is it just screaming until I use it?
That's weird. Oh, fuck.
Just
Yeah, like, it's very hard to go into anything more. Like,
the fight choreography is great.
yeah, like, well, I meant describing the fights. A lot
No,
of it
not
is
just.
action.
No, I'm just
so-
saying, like, for people listening to this, the fight choreography is done well,
Yeah.
well. The fact that he learnt a lot of it, that all of them had to learn how to fight to a certain degree.
Yeah.
Another little part I noticed, or I kind of, once again, I'm making the assumption, when they go to get Morpheus back, they blow out the bottom of the place after causing one of the most iconic gunfights.
Yeah.
And then they're on the roof fighting to get the helicopter. They're cutting off their escape. So, like, they can't get him out anywhere.
The whole plan, I think, was that, like, we'll get there, but he has to get himself out. Like, dude, like, because they're in the helicopter. They're just like, come on, Morpheus, come.
Yeah, definitely.
It all revolved around him being able to, like, break out of his restraints and get there
After
himself.
he was pumped full of mercury.
Yeah, no, I don't know what the fuck they put in him.
Also, Mr. Smith, as is noticed through all of it, he's slightly deviating from the way the other agents are.
Yeah, but you got to remember, all three of them are sentient.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about them, is that they are, in their own ways, still, like, their main priority is self-preservation. Smith is a little different because he not only cares about his own preservation, he doesn't like being in the Matrix at all.
He has more... Sounds like he feels it more than the rest because they're not disgusted by it. He's disgusted by it.
Well, they may be, and maybe they don't talk about it. But you know that they aren't just mindless programs because at the end, when he kills Smith, they run.
Yeah, they run.
And you wouldn't do that unless you're just caring about your own self before the greater good. So they're basically just human in that respect.
It is interesting to think what they are because, like you said, they were trying to preserve themselves after watching him fucking kill him.
And if all they cared about was like protecting the Matrix, they would have went in anyway. But they're not mindless drones in that sense. They do have self-preservation as an instinct, which shows you the kind of AI that you're dealing with.
Yeah.
They're not just...
So there's like... Obviously, from the other movies, there is the main central one.
Yeah.
But there must be bunches of other little ones kind of thing. Well, as we got in the Animatrix, it was like a robot society that had built up. There was multiple people.
I'd only thought about that today, actually, and I haven't watched it for a long time.
Yeah,
but
same.
Yeah, it was definitely a weird...
They do explain in the movie, though, they did say that there was a society brought up by the robots and the people kind of thing. They only mention it like really briefly in like a sentence or some shit.
It didn't last long, but yeah.
Until war broke out.
Yeah. How would you go, like, war against robots? You wouldn't win.
You want to make sure you had
If they already have... No, like, if you had an AI come about tomorrow, there's still the possibility that we could win. Where there would be a lot of mayhem, but we could destroy all the computers and, like, build new ones and be done with it kind of thing. But as soon as you've got robots with hands and they've got their own country, you can't win.
Yeah.
They'll fucking...
As soon as they got hands.
No, like, as soon as they can use tools.
It's like the cats with the opposable thumbs. Like, that's it. It's fucking over.
Oh, my God.
Missy, is there anything that stood out to you other than little details or just anything you want to speak about?
Stood out really well or really bad?
No, I'm not doing the questions yet. That's at the end. But just in general.
Just in general? Well, like I said to you when we watched it, I think it was the first time that I've ever watched it and actually realised what it was about.
Why?
I think in all the times I've seen it,
You just watched the action.
Yeah, I must have watched it and just not taken it in whatsoever. I remembered every single scene, but when we started to watch it, I sat there and I went, what the fuck is this about? And then when he, like, wakes up and realises the reality of the situation, I went, oh my fucking God, I've seen this scene like 5 times and I've never realised what it actually meant.
The impact.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, now everything's making more sense. And then, so for me, it was almost like watching it properly for the first time, which was interesting. But
a lot of action movies are kind of like that. You don't pay attention to the story, you watch the action, and then sometimes you might just sit there one time and watch the action movie and you're like, it's either dumb as fuck or this actually makes sense. Like, it had a decent story, I just never watched it.
Story.
Yeah, it definitely depends on your age. Like, I'd only ever seen The Matrix as a kid, and then, like, maybe once or twice as a teen, like, when it was on in the background or something. I'd never sat down and watched it properly.
You have to pay attention to this movie, what's being said.
And so I think because I'd seen the whole thing when I was younger, when I was a teen, I always thought, well, I've seen this, I don't need to pay attention to it properly. But, I mean, there are a lot of clever little details in it, I guess. Obviously, some of it is a little bit far-fetched to the point where you just kind of watch and you're like, okay, this is what it is. You know, like them disappearing with the phone calls and stuff. That's
logging out.
It's weird. Even, like, that was probably one of the special effects that wasn't super well aged.
Because you only see that properly at the end.
Yeah, you see it once or twice in the whole movie, yeah.
I think it would have made more sense just to disappear.
Yeah. So that didn't age very well, but everything else did. Obviously, we talked about how she jumped through the window. That didn't age really well, but I mean,
what about for you? What about the acting and just the characters in general and their connections to each other? Was it believable?
I feel like everything was pretty good, other than the fact that you can so obviously tell that the guy that betrays them is going to betray them. It's almost ridiculous to the point of, like, how can they not suspect him?
But they've known him for years. He probably just comes across as a cunt to them. Like, he's just bitter.
No, but at some point...
Yeah, they've all been together a long time.
But at some point, that guy has realised, I would rather fuck over everyone in my life and kill my 9-year-old friendships and literally kill people and go and live back in the Matrix and eat pretend food. Like, he made that conscious decision, so his behaviour would have changed. So that kind of bugged me.
When they brought him out, and they're like, oh, you're not the fucking one. And just like, this guy has just been upset probably the whole lot of the time.
They're all smart people too.
Oh, yeah, they are.
So if you're not looking for a traitor, this guy's smart and he can take advantage of that. So
yeah, that is true. I mean, he was able to fuck them over pretty easy. They weren't looking for it, so...
Yes.
No, I think they were all pretty good.
And it's a small team too, so you're kind of relying on everyone to do their job, and you don't have time to watch them do their job.
I think probably the only issue I have that comes down to character relationships and what I think is a flaw in the movie is just Trinity and Neo's relationship. They have, like, one conversation the entire movie, and then they're in love.
I thought the same thing, but I reckon it's because what the Oracle told her, so she stayed back. She was already feeling it and just kind of stayed back and didn't say anything.
What do you mean? Why?
Also,
because you don't want to say, like, whatever the Oracle says, don't fucking tell anyone. Like,
yeah, but she wasn't supposed to tell anyone.
No, she wasn't until it was finally, like, she had already realized by then.
But she had no fucking time
also,
with
he's
him.
the one. I'd fall in love with him too. So,
but it's so dumb. They had nothing to do with each other.
He has unlimited
They've
credits.
been together. I think that's probably another time thing. I think they'd been
it's been months.
Training, life or death situations, just...
It's been...
Also, they, like, knew each other online.
That's true, too.
He knew of her way beforehand. Well, she thought it was he thought it was a him.
Yeah.
So they already came from similar worlds.
Yeah, they did have a similar background then. But, I don't know,
Just that one.
I can't wrap my head around
Plus,
that.
you don't have many options in the future.
Yeah. You either got the Switch is just the dyke bitch, or...
Yeah, but she's
You can
dead.
go. I know Tank's pretty hot, so you could win him. But
Yeah, I love my cat. But no, I don't know. That part just shit me. You know, it went from you see them do absolutely nothing together. They don't interact. It was just the fact that they had no connection on screen whatsoever. And then all of it, like, you got the fact that they were trying to give hints that she had feelings for him, but it wasn't done very well, in my opinion. And then at the end, it's just like, the Oracle told me that the man that I fell in love with would be the one, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh, okay, and now you're in love? Yep, all right, well,
he did
whatever.
save her life.
It doesn't
That
matter.
cool helicopter scene.
Look, it's
All right,
I've seen a lot of romance movies and a lot of movies that have a little bit of romance. I've seen a lot of relationships. It didn't. Yeah,
You
it was
gotta
the
remember,
weakest
in
point.
this world, they just log in and then have VR sex with whoever they want. So she'd already been doing that with Neo without him knowing,
Oh my god.
and he'd been doing that with her.
No,
And it's just like, oh my god, they actually both like each other.
he likes
and they
the
don't have to
lady
pretend
in
anymore.
the red dress. He likes blondes.
Jesus.
So their relationship. What about just all the characters? Because I thought the acting was surprisingly suited everyone.
Yeah, it did. There was no issue. Everyone was, pretty believable. No one really shit me.
Morpheus's face shits me.
Why?
His skin is terrible.
Some of the close-ups on his
Like,
skin.
my god. Like, he's got, like, pits in his face.
I was more thinking like, what is it before Neo enters the room to see Morpheus? She gives him a hint that's like something some advice.
She says, be honest.
Oh yeah, all I could think was be honest. Also, don't look at his teeth.
Yeah, that's
And then
what
when he
she
walks in
said.
and smiles, it's just a big ass gap between his teeth.
Fucking hell.
The overall, watching it again, that movie has got, similar to Terminator, so many iconic moments.
Yeah.
The red pill, the blue pill, the
Yeah.
jumping.
Yeah.
Whoa, I know kung fu. Just
Yeah.
overall, like, it's got so many.
I should have taken notes, but there's a lot of scenes that have been taken off.
Oh, yeah.
They
different
do
movies.
a good job in building up the fear of the agents, of just like, you see one, you fucking run kind of thing. And then that's when you see, like, Morpheus when he goes through the wall and starts fighting with Smith. It's probably one of the cooler fight scenes in it.
I don't know how they gave those scenes so much, like, I don't know, feeling like you already felt like this is a really dangerous situation.
Yeah.
And it also made you realize that how good Morpheus was already.
To be able to go even that long with him.
And there was very little build up to that. And you still really felt like that he's giving this a really good go. He's a better run for.
But he didn't.
his money,
Overall,
but-
he did not stand a chance in the
obviously.
ring. Yeah.
Like, he was never going to. But
Come on, that the Smith get up is one of my favorite things. Where he slams his arms down, and he just rises up.
Oh yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Them sliding down the wall part always freaks me out because I'm like, you're going so fast. There's so many splinters and
And there's a
dust
weak
everywhere.
part in the wall when your foot goes in further and then you just keep falling and your ankle's like, ah!
and your knee just buckles up.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Also, I was wondering, do you think Cypher did that part on purpose,
Which bit?
where he coughs?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so he's just trying to make it look.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He coughs twice.
He's like, here. Oh, here.
Yeah, he's a cunt. Like, he's a fucking actual cunt.
He's pretty dodgy, just killing people. I do like the fact that he's like, some miracle has got to stop me.
Yeah.
And then when he says, I don't believe it, it's not the fact Tank was alive. It's like some fucking miracle did just stop him.
Yeah. I'm glad that he fucking knew that he'd fucked up.
They also lost like half their crew on that mission. So,
Yeah.
so many
Yeah.
people
All because of
died.
him.
Yeah, it was all his fault.
Like, none of that would have actually happened. Like, they were tracking people, but they were nowhere near finding any of them. In fact, before they had the insider, like, I don't think they ever caught up with them ever. Like, unless, like, there was talk of previous people going up against agents.
Yeah.
But I think this team had been together for a long time. So, yeah, he's a real cunt.
just so many good scenes in that movie. Just overall well done. Hopefully we didn't miss too much. But all right, let's get on to what's your favorite scene. What's your least favorite scene?
Ooh.
If I'm gonna go, it's hard because it's pretty much at the end, but it might be probably the train fight. I think is my favorite scene.
Yep.
It's one of the moments where it's like he finally believes and he starts really fighting with it. Also, the fact it's like it's both of them. It's Hugo Weaving and Keanu Reeves, and it doesn't look like they've done too much. It looks like they're both fighting with each other.
Yeah.
And it's just done so well.
I do like that scene. Like all the fight scenes are good,
They are really good.
but I do like the fight scene between Smith. What's his name in real life?
Oh, Hugo Weaving.
Hugo Weaving.
Yeah.
I've never heard that.
Have you seen Priscilla, Queen
Queen
of the Desert?
I know what he's from, but I never heard of his actual name.
That's who my D&D character was. It was Hugo Benson or something like that.
You idiot.
Because he looked like Hugo Weaving.
For me, it's another action scene. It's the fight between Morpheus and Neo.
The training
Yeah,
simulate.
like, I
It's
just
really
love that
good,
fight.
isn't it?
Like, I don't
Trying
know
out
why.
all the styles, like mixing it up.
And it seems cheesy sometimes the way they're doing all the motions, but I think they're trying to do them as well as they can.
Yeah.
And that's how a lot of martial arts are
Yeah,
showy like that. So yeah, I think they did that well.
When he
And-
starts having fun, and
Yeah.
you can see like he switches it up kind of thing.
because before that, he was pretty depressed and like, why the fuck am I even alive?
I'd
at
be
the
depressed too.
moment?
I got all these fucking holes in me.
Yeah, and what's the fucking the cunt's name? The one that
Cypher?
yeah, when he fucking first talks to him alone in that scene.
Ah, yeah.
That's
yeah.
my most hated scene, but not because it's bad, but because
You hate Cypher.
I hate him so much. Like, what a cunt to take, like, to say that. What does he say?
Why did I pick the
yeah,
blue? Why didn't I take the blue
I know what
pill?
you're thinking, right? Like, why didn't I pick the blue pill or some shit? That is such a cunt thing to say because of the situation and the frame of mind Neo already had. And then to throw that out there, like, what's Neo gonna do? Like, argue with him? He hasn't been there long enough. So he's just like, feeling all awkward inside. And it makes me feel awkward.
Maybe he
Yeah,
was
it is
gauging.
too, isn't it?
He might have been gauging whether or not he could get him in on the betrayal, though.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, you know, if you got two people on the inside, it's more efficient
But
than
it
one.
definitely would have helped.
That's possible. But, yeah, I just felt like it was more spite.
It is because I was just trying to think what would be my least, and I can't pick one that is like I don't like. I know what you mean. It's like, well, what's your least, but definitely that's one of the more uncomfortable ones.
Yeah.
What's your favorite, Missy?
It's not probably what you'd expect, but I liked the scene when Cypher's killing everyone because they're literally trapped in the Matrix and they can't do shit.
Yeah.
And he's just
It
walking
is
around. He's
a horrifying
molesting.
scene.
He's molesting their bodies.
Oh,
Like
and
he
just
could literally
jumps on
do.
Morpheus.
He could do what everyone. I love that jump onto Morpheus. That's great. But he's just, you know, for all they know, he's butt fucking them all, you know. But he's like, yeah, he's mocking them, and he can just walk up to someone and unplug them, and that's it. They're dead. Like, and he does. And there's nothing they can do about it whatsoever. They're completely powerless after everything they've gone through, all the training, everything they've done, because they trusted him. That's it. Like, they're fucked. And I just think it was a really well done scene. Like, they had these friends that they've had forever, and without anything they could do, not being able to fight back at all, he just, unplugs them, and that's that.
I think for me, least, even though it's, you know, I love everything about it. Maybe the Spoon Kid is probably the one that didn't stand out to me as much as probably what it maybe
Felt a bit awkward.
It kind of felt like this weird thing put in there to try and, I don't know, but there's a message there kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
I
I'd say
it is, though, what led to
It's like really
He
important.
developing his powers
yeah, definitely.
the way he did.
Also, those kids, are they other the one people or are they
what did they call them?
potential?
Potential candidates.
Yeah.
For the one.
They were
For the
being
one.
tested to
Okay.
see if they were the one.
Yeah.
Okay, so she or he was actively taking him there to look for them? What?
The problem
Other
is,
people probably are.
if you have magical powers in the Matrix, that means that you, to
You're-
a degree, have the power to control stuff
Yeah,
in the
you're
Matrix.
breaking through.
So
kind of
you
thing.
need to be tested.
I would say also another one. I do love the scene between him and the Oracle because I think she's one of the best characters, and I love that overall scene between them.
Yeah.
Especially just the vase. Like, would you have knocked it over if I didn't say anything?
Yeah.
It's one of those like it's one of those like makes you think kind of thing.
Yeah.
Makes you think. Yeah.
All right.
It sucks because we can't go into it too deeply. But do you remember who the Oracle is, though?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know in the other ones like who she is.
Don't wait.
Yeah.
Doing it for because you can still watch.
I
the
do.
rest.
I want to watch the other ones anyway because I love watching the other two as well.
I don't think I've seen them at all ever.
Oh, you're in for a
Wow.
treat. You're in for a
never
treat.
finished the series.
I'm not sure. I can't remember anything about them at all. I assume I haven't watched them.
That's awesome. I've got them both on. Oh wait, they're on Netflix, aren't they now? Oh, Stan.
I think they're on stand. Yeah, we saw them.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've
we'll
got
definitely
them on
have to
Blu-ray
watch them.
if you want. But
A lot of people's favorite is Reloaded, the second one.
I may have seen it, but it may be
I
another
actually
one
love
of those
the third one.
situations
Yeah.
where I don't remember it. Like, I didn't take it in. So we'll see.
And all right, next question is fuck, marry, and kill.
No.
mm,
Really? We're doing that again?
We're doing it every time. Obviously, you're gonna marry a chick in the red dress. She seems quiet, just like Mr. Mime. I do like that.
kill the cunt.
Definitely gonna kill Cypher because he just needs to go what a cunt. And I don't know, give Trendy a go.
Who are you marrying?
The woman in the red dress. All she does is just walk down the street and looks at you. That's all I want.
And then turns into an agent.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
So which version of her do you want?
Like a real woman.
I want the
Turns
one
into a
that I
bitch.
want. I want the one that Mouse said he could give me alone time with.
Oh, okay.
He's like, she
The
doesn't
one with
talk
no
much.
free will, that one.
Yes,
Okay.
the best
perfect.
bride.
She doesn't suffer. She's not sentient.
Well, I don't know that he said she wouldn't suffer. He just said she doesn't have a choice.
She's not sentient.
We don't know that.
Why would he make her sentient?
She's a kidnapped agent.
Jesus.
Just getting raped repeatedly.
That's fine.
Hugo Weaving.
No wonder why Hugo wants out.
I think you pretty much chose my people, man. You cunt. Who does
No,
that
no
leave?
samesies.
Yeah, I know, no samesies. Who does that leave?
I think you can
It's
pick
all men now.
samesies.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure there were some girls that were potentials. Very potential.
Alright, I will.
Oh wait, there's
Fuck
the bunny
white
girl.
rabbit.
The white rabbit. Yeah, just the white rabbit.
Kill. I have to kill Scyther. Like, I don't care if there's no samesies. I will stab his dead corpse after you're finished with
They
him.
made him into a cunt quite well.
Yeah. Like, I hate him.
Also, his dumbass facial hair pissed me off.
Marry. Who will I marry?
Tank. He's such a handsome devil.
I'll marry Morpheus. Seems like the caring kind.
Yeah,
He
he'd look
seems like he
after
could,
you.
like, you know,
He'll make you
tell you a
breakfast
good
and
tale.
shit. Yeah. He'll look after you.
You're like, tell me the one about the Matrix again. He's like, I love telling that one.
That's so weird. My
What's yours?
Okay. I would have to marry Tank's brother.
Dozer,
Dozer. Yeah.
the big dude.
Because I feel like he would look after you. He's a big teddy. He loves his
He does
family.
He knows about the food.
He's an all-natural born with no freaky holes, you know?
Yeah.
So that'd be good. And then
But the holes.
I'd fuck his little brother in front of him after he wronged me in a slight way.
Marry a guy, then fucking cuckold him.
Yeah.
With his brother.
And then I'd probably kill... Who's
Mouse.
someone else that irritated
No,
me?
Mouse is fine.
She didn't
What
want
about
Mouse.
Weedy Bites? Tasty Wheat, was it?
Tasty wheat?
Tasty Wheat, yeah. Oh, who else was annoying? I don't know. I can't really kill Hugo Weaving.
He's great.
No, probably Cypher as well, hey. Like, when you guys are done, I'll burn the body or something. Just salt and burn it.
Just salt and burn it so nothing
Yeah.
grows.
Yeah. So he can't come back as a ghost, a virus, a computer virus. Yeah.
Alright, it's pretty good.
Wait, what I didn't understand is why he wanted to forget once he went back into the
I
Matrix.
was the same with that. It almost feels like, does he want to not remember the fact that he fucked over everybody and is a piece of shit?
Yeah, you wouldn't want to remember your
Because
friends.
if you forget, you're just not even yourself anymore.
And you wouldn't want to live with that. Imagine knowing that none of this was real and then just trying to go on with your life. It'd be horrible.
I think of it more like a game.
Maybe he really is disgusted in just the way the real world is. Like, in what he had to live with eating and the way just everything was.
I think it's more the fact that they have found the one several times and he genuinely thinks they're never going to fix the world. I think he had lost all hope and was just like, it's never going to get better. We're going to be on the run, eating slop.
They found the one multiple times.
Yeah, they'd gone to the Oracle multiple times.
Yeah, they've taken people to the Oracle.
Yeah, but I don't know if it was ever because they were thought of as the one.
But that's the whole point. Is Morpheus was trying multiple times,
Morpheus thought that he'd found the one, and then finally he found Neo.
When did it say that, though?
Before they went to the Oracle.
I feel like
No, they've been to the Oracle, but does that necessarily mean they're the one?
I thought he was looking.
Maybe
he never actually took people out. He just found people, looked into them, and it was like, they're not it, and then moved on.
Like,
The thing about deplugging people, we don't usually do it at this age.
Yeah.
So they do it to people that are younger.
Yeah.
Free their minds. So maybe he had done it to people that are younger.
I'd say that freed other people in the search for the one, but I don't know if he ever considered any of them the one.
Oh, like truly believed it kind of thing.
No, not even that. Just, I think that, like, in his search, he found people that he thought he could free, and that would, wanted to know the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Because people searched for him, if you remember.
Yeah, definitely.
That doesn't mean he thinks they're the one, but he may still help release them because you need more people out.
Oh, could be. I'm not sure how they go about it.
No one from Zion can go in. You can only go into the Matrix if you were born in the Matrix.
Oh, yeah, that's true, eh?
So you need people from the
Matrix. They can try and put you in. They can shove that thing into the factory.
Oh, no, he's just...
They're like, it's time to hijack your mind.
But it's entirely possible that there are other people that were brought out because they might be the one. I just didn't get that feeling that Morpheus had ever thought of anyone but Neo as the one.
All right, let's get to
Martin.
Scores. We'll start with Martin's. He said worst part of the movie was the start. Where was it?
That's
Worst
specific.
part of movie was the start of it. Best part was the ending. Everything in between was just meh. Critical score of 4, personal score of 2.
What a cock.
Yep.
Starting to think we've got different tastes than what Martin does.
Yeah, Martin likes dick. And that's it.
Just dick.
Just loves the dick.
All right, Aaron, what's your personal?
All right. Not critical first?
Oh, sorry, critical. Everyone's critical.
Critical. Ooh, shit. For me, I can't remember what I've given anything else, but I'm feeling like it's a 4.5.
I was thinking, because I was like, all right, let's just put it at... This is a movie that's good, so let's just try and subtract what was bad about it.
Yeah.
And almost the only thing I could pick on is some slight special effects, which still made up in other areas. So it wasn't even all of the special effects. It was just like a couple of scenes. Like, maybe you could say some of the sound effects with the fight moves was cheesy, but I don't know. I still liked them to it as well. I thought it kind of added to it. So I'm probably the same.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not too much I can fault in it critically. It probably would have to be a 4.5 as well. Like, I was leaning towards a 4, but really, there's not that many things that are actually wrong with it. Like, yeah, I mean, other than a couple of tiny things that aren't worth taking a whole point off, I'd say a 4.5. Everything was pretty good.
Like, for a movie this old, I was trying to think of, it's definitely close, I think, to hitting 5 for me.
If you were to use CGI and replace the phones with more modern-looking phones...
That's not even the part I take from it, because...
No, I'm
it's
just
a
saying,
dated
you
movie.
could release it today. Like, if you were to replace
definitely.
the tech inside, like in the movie, and make it look a little more modern, You could release this movie today and no one would know.
That's why when they talk about the reboot, I'm like, this movie is still too solid. I think you need to wait longer.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how they will do it justice.
I think you need to give it 30, like 30 years. Do you know what I mean?
So another 10 years.
Yeah, like just because it's, like I said, watching it today, it still fucking holds up. Like,
Yeah.
But it is set in the 90s, isn't it? The Matrix is set in the 90s, even though it's really 21 something.
Yeah.
But it's actually, what, you don't know that.
They said closer to 21.
21.99.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they don't know that. They're just kind of making an estimation of it.
Yeah.
What about personal?
Personal. Shit. It's probably, like, I really like the movie. It's probably a 4.5.
I think...
Convince me otherwise. I'm thinking of going 5.
Really?
5 is perfect.
No, personal. Like, I fucking love it. I'll watch it again.
I'll watch it
Right
again.
now?
I'm close to... I probably would... I'm ready to watch the next 2, like, straight away.
It's got you that hyped, you'd give it a 5.
I've always loved The Matrix.
Yeah,
It's
that's
literally... If, like, Mad Max didn't have nostalgia. Do you know what I mean? I watched it. It was only 2 years old when we did the review on it. The Matrix is 22 years old. Watching it again made me feel so good watching it again.
Yeah.
I noticed you kept touching yourself, but
All the time.
it was a bit awkward for me when I was
You
just
can
trying
only
to take in
rub
the story.
so
Yeah, it was a
much.
bit awkward when you kept pushing my hand away. Use it your own.
I know. I like it this way. This way for this scene. This way for this scene.
It's just me and my hand.
Oh, shit.
Look, all right, 5. All right.
You don't
No,
have
I'm
to give it a
saying,
5.
I'm saying I'm close to it. Like, I might even consider.
A 5.5.
No. I was like, maybe we start getting into the sub-cut numbers and like a 4.7 or 4.8.
Yeah. Like, I would go 4.75 if we'd already, like, established that we could. Because I still am adamant, if I see a 5, I'll know it.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
But I
Was
can't
this a 5 when it came out?
Yes.
This
It
was
was
a 5.
probably my favorite movie when
This
it
was a
released.
5 when it came out critically and a 5 personally. Like,
Yeah. Like, to me, it was a 10. Like, or a 9.9. Like, it was fucking... I loved the movie, and I couldn't wait for the sequels.
if I was to still put... all right, the best way is I gave Mad Max a 5, didn't I, personally?
Yes.
You like it more than... That's why I didn't give Mad Max a 5. Because I'm like, there's got to be something else that I love more.
Yeah, but I
And
can
there may
still love
still
something
be.
more, but they're still at that level. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're right up there.
But
These are
You
2
can't
movies
have
that are like...
that many movies in 5.
Yeah.
There can't be that many. Like,
That's a lot of nines.
So for there to be that many, it means you didn't critique the others hard enough.
No, because I did critique. Personal is different. Like, I'd throw Mad Max on now. I would throw another Matrix on now.
But you're
I'm
saying
not
another
ever throwing
Matrix,
Pet
not this
Sematary on again.
Matrix.
I'm not fucking... I probably will, but I don't care to watch Captain Marvel again. I will watch Aquaman again. Like, there's the kind of the way I measure it. This one kind of made me
Actually,
remember how much I loved it.
I'm going to have to use it sparingly, but I think you've convinced me. I'm going to go 5.
It's up there for you?
Yeah. Just remembering when I first watched it, like, it was literally, like, great. Like, I was...
How many times did you
hyped
try and
about
do
it.
that backbend?
Just the amount of conversations that I had in school with other people.
Yeah, that's a good way to think. Because I was thinking, I'm trying to wrap this up, but like I probably could have went longer, kind of thing, into just going into more stuff about it.
Yeah.
Did it bring back all the old feelings for you guys?
It did. It's a good like conversation to have about. Just like I said, it did story and it did lore. Like,
And it brings up questions about our own existence. So, like, it brought up awesome conversations.
we're in a time of tech now, and VR is coming around,
Yeah.
and connectivity and stuff like that.
It's never been more relevant, really.
Like we're already all plugged in
Yeah.
a sense. It's just
That's where we're going.
If you knew, though, like, if you were in the position Cypher was in, would you go back? Would you get wiped and you'd go back and just keep living your life, doing everything how
I
you do?
wouldn't want to be a cunt about it, but I probably do agree. I'd probably want to go back into it.
If there was the option to go back in and live in there without but keep your memory and not be chased by the fucking agents, I would probably do that. Like, why not? But you can't do that unless you go into their system. Otherwise, someone's going to have to sit there feeding you intravenously on the table.
Yeah, you'd have to go back and get your fucking plugs back in.
How good is just the ending when he finally gets steps back up? And he's like fighting with the guy and he just switches to one hand.
Yeah.
Just like,
It's just...
you're nothing to me now.
Yeah.
Poor Agent
That was a good scene.
So good.
My personal's probably a 4.
You can go lower if you want. I can feel it.
No, it's still a 4.
You really liked it?
Oh,
You'd watch it again?
One
Yeah,
bad
probably.
thing. When he jumps into Agent Smith.
I was about to say that's the
and
only
explodes.
one. That was the only one that I thought didn't.
It looked more like early 90s.
Yeah,
late
but
90s.
Even the look, that's the only one I kind of thought didn't make sense. But then I thought, what if he
yeah.
was looking at him as code and is like, I'm going to go to like the core of it or something. Or maybe he's messing around with his powers. Like, I didn't know why he did that.
I think he took that body and...
Forced him out. Like,
Forced him
literally
out.
just found his code and ripped him apart.
Yeah.
Do we want to start adding points into it? Because I might go 4.75 maybe. Or maybe I'll just go 5. Fuck it.
Yeah, I think we can do points, to be honest, because there are going to be some movies where it's almost a 5 but not quite, because if there's a 5, you will be like 5.
So we're
No
at a 20-point
hesitation.
scale now. Are we moving to the 40-point scale?
If we're doing
This is just like
0.75s,
that little bit way of staying away from fucking saying something is good. Like, it's good.
4.75. 4.75.
You want to go 4.75?
I think it's allowed.
4 point.
I still really feel like if it was a 5, I would just be like, it's a 5.
But I think in this case, I almost feel like it should only be allowed for anything over 4. The, like, extra point system. So, like, we can do 0.5s, but then anything over 4, if you're not quite sure if it's a 5. You know what I mean?
So we can't do a
a
2.75.
Yeah, we can't do, like, a 3.1. You know, like, we
Why?
can't...
Because it's kind of like, if you look at it at the, say, all right, say a 9. 9 is amazing. And you're like, 9.5 is yours. Like, it's halfway to being, you know, a masterpiece. And then you're like, it's almost there.
No,
But they did this one stupid thing.
I think it's like, it's better than an 8, but it's not quite an 8.5. So I'm going to go an 8.25. Just to fuck with it.
That's the only one where it's like, just go with the 8 then kind of thing. You know what I mean? That's where part of me is just like, just go with the 5. How many of them are really going to be up there? We've picked 2 fantastic movies. The only reason I've given them 5s because they're that good. I can't... There'll be others that will be up there. But, you know, it's not like everything's getting a 10. Critically, they're always going to be almost held back unless it's probably in the last 2 years.
All right, well, go on then.
Well, if we're not doing the 0.25s, then I'll
I
stay
feel like
with the 5.
I feel like we need to keep away with it until we start getting into that when numbers start matching each other. Do you know what I mean? When they're starting
I
to
think they're going to start doing that.
yeah,
Because
they're
we're
trying-
only choosing grade A movies like fucking Clockwork Orange. Like, they're all going to overlap.
Are you going a 0.5 or a 5?
5.
Fuck you, Martin.
It's my first 5.
So, what was Martin was 2, hey?
Yeah.
Ooh, what does that equal? What is that?
I'm about to do it now. So, Aaron critical 4.5, Kane critical 4.5, Martin critical 4, Melissa critical 4, and then we go to...
That's what I gave it a 4.5.
You did.
You just had to put 0.5.
Yeah.
Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Who knows?
Far out. You're doing everything so hard.
Suck a dick. Alright, Aaron personal 5, Kane personal 5, Melissa personal 4.5?
4.
4, that's what's missing. 4 with Martin's 2.5 divided by 4. You get 8.5 total.
Wow.
That seems pretty high.
That might be 3rd or 2nd.
That puts it on the Colosseum list. 8.5 will put it 2nd.
Yeah, I thought so.
Just
Yes.
under Mad Max Fury Road by 0.1.
Ooh.
By 0.1. That doesn't even make any sense. We're not doing things in 0.1s, are we?
No, but it's the overall score together. Mad Max Fury Road was a 8.6.
How did it even get 8.6?
It is rounding, so.
Fine, I can accept that.
Second place, just under Mad Max.
Yeah. It's because of Martin, though.
He gave it a 4 critically, which is a great movie. But just averagely, it's not his taste. Though I'm guessing anything that isn't Nintendo or Stephen King is
He
his
likes more things that taste like dick.
taste. We were discussing the fact that he gave, even loving Pet Sematary, it could still only get to a 7 for him. Because the critical just brought it down kind of thing, no matter what. Well, that's good.
He's fucking the epitome of Metacritic
Just
and Rotten Tomatoes.
why?
That's all. That's the board. It's a board of Martins.
Oh my god.
That means that, but instead of horror, which would be him, theirs is just
Everything.
artsier, more films,
Yeah.
I guess. Alright. That is it. Is there anything else? Oh, wait, fuck. What movie? Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah.
Fuck. We didn't even ask Martin.
I know.
We can put it on. You putting it on Facebook or Discord?
I put it on everything, but sorry for you not listening because we're not prepared and it's late. We will have them poll up. We'll decide for which movie it is. And
We'll
you get to vote
argue
on
about it in our own time, and we'll put up a poll.
Yeah, it will be up pretty much straight away. So, because we always got to have a couple of days, 3 days, so they can vote, and then we'll see.
Usually it wouldn't be up until tomorrow.
Matrix won by quite a bit. It was about a 60-40, I guess.
Yeah.
How many people voted?
20 something, I guess.
Yeah.
So, fantasy is eliminated or sci-fi? Sci-fi. Hey, it's sci-fi.
I think action's eliminated.
It's not action though. I go by what I click, and
It's
that's
a sci-fi action game.
it's what the page says is what it is.
It's a sci-fi
We'll get rid of
action.
movies that are 2 hours and 16 minutes long.
The genre of time.
Yeah.
Until eventually we get to the 1920s one. Which is 16 seconds or some shit. Not even that.
Or
Alright.
really long ones. Because I ain't doing another 5-hour movie.
Goodbye, Titanic and all the Lord of the Rings.
Right. Thanks for listening. Yeah. Missy, Aaron, have anything you wanted to say?
I hope you enjoyed our review of The Matrix.
Is it a review or more just a circle jerk?
Circle jerk.
I did no jerking in this circle of jerks.
Yeah.
And it's a triangle, by the way. But
You can create a circle.
we'll be right back after we make a circle.
Jesus.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
NPC.